BookBrush is an author marketing tool that allows you to put together some great graphic assets to help promote, of course, your books and build your brand around something like that. They originally poached me about 4 years ago, but they have grown so much since. In fact, over the last year, they have grown exponentially with some of the features they have available, and two of which I got the chance to speak to the current COO of BookBrush.com, Dana Clare. One of them is going to be something that they will do the graphics for you, and the other thing is something new, a virtual conference called BookMarCon, where they have put together a veritable who's who in the self-publishing industry to teach you exactly all about book marketing and how to do it the right way. So without any further ado, let's jump into this interview with the COO of BookBrush, Dana Clare. Oh, just a quick aside, if you want to save yourself $50 on the BookMarCon ticket, you can go ahead and use the coupon code DALE50 for a limited time. So order yours right now. Dana, you and I met some time ago over via what, Instagram, was it?
It was. We did an Instagram live together.
That's so wild because for like the longest time, I always just saw Kathleen Sweeney as like the face of BookBrush. So when you showed up, I was like, who's this person?
You want to know a secret?
What's that?
That's the first and only Instagram live I've ever done.
Really? I see you ran it like you've done it many times before. And see, that just goes to show I need to pay attention over on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I've done one on my, no, I know I haven't. I haven't even done one on my author Instagram. So you were my first and my last.
Did I break you? Is that what happened?
It was so good. I knew no one would ever compare.
There we go. Look, flattery is going to get you everywhere. But the truth is, at that time, you were just kind of managing the Instagram profile. Now you've taken a larger position and role in the company of BookBrush. Share with me, how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I must not have been very good at Instagram Live. No, I'm just kidding. That was funny.
They're like, give her a different role.
This wasn't great. No, it was funny. I was a couple weeks into helping with social media and we were growing it, and they wanted, because I'm also an author and I've been in marketing for 20 years, they wanted an author's perspective. But what we found out was that where I really shined was on webinars. So instead they hired somebody new for social media, and I went over into educational webinars for about 6 months before then they hired me as the COO.
So cool. So what does the job of COO entail for BookBrush? Because, man, I remember when you guys were like this little itty bitty company, and now you're doing webinars with 600 people in it?
No. Actually, our largest webinar was 1,400 people. We thought we broke the internet with that one.
What?
Yeah.
Congrats. You guys deserve it.
Thank you. Actually, I'm going to pat us on the back a little bit more. We just reached 100,000 authors on the platform. So...
Holy crap.
Yeah, and the thing that we pride ourselves on is community and having that really close-knit group of authors who engage, which is why I think our webinars do so well, is because people want to come on and learn from partners like you and some of the other partners that we've had, because they trust us. And because of that, we hold that means a lot to us. We do not take that lightly if they come together to trust what we have to say. So anyway, this role, oh my goodness, there's so many. I feel like I wear like 18 different hats. I'm pretty much the janitor too. So the role is really, I really am. I mean, we do it all, which is really nice because talk about community. The employees also have very strong community, and we help each other out tremendously through it all. But where I was hired to take the company to the next level was in education and services, because we are a software-based company. So that's been really my two big babies out of the three things that we've been doing, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's so cool. And I've seen a remarkable jump in the features that you guys have had since you've come around. Have you had, and feel free to toot your own horn, have you had some type of influence in a lot of this growth for BookBrush?
I mean, I would hope that some of it or a lot of it, or maybe itsy parts of it would have to do with me. I think what's nice is I know authors' pain points. I live them. I'm an author, so I know that it's kind of a lonely occupation sitting there, and it's like you and your characters if you're a fiction writer, or you and your facts if you're a nonfiction writer. And this is the place where I think I shine, because I can come from a personal perspective and tell you, like, hey, my first book, I did a terrible job publishing it. And now I have representation and a 5-book deal and 2 books for TV to option to TV. I said that backwards. So yeah, I grew a
Yeah.
lot. And that is really neat for me to be able to share that with our community.
This is really cool, and I'm super excited about a lot of what you do bring to the table and the fact that you're so willing to educate a lot of the authors out there. And this is a perfect segue into what I want to discuss, of course, is you guys have a new premium virtual event coming up here relatively soon. It's a pretty big deal. You guys have some heavy hitters. Share with me a little bit more about BookMarCon.
Yeah, so BookMar, the Mar is for marketing, BookMarCon. It's a conference. It's a virtual conference, August 11th through 13th, 2023. And it's everything that has to do with marketing and the business side of being an author. And I think there's so many different conferences out there. And I'm a salesperson too, so we always want to find what differentiates us. And for me, and I'm sure, Dale, you're probably the same way, you go to a conference and it's so overwhelming. There's so much information about the craft, about marketing, about ads, about everything. I really want to like tunnel vision and focus on one part. And the biggest thing that all authors want is increased sales. So that's what we focus on. How can you use marketing to increase your bottom line, to sell more books, to grow your readership, to get your name out there if you're a new author? So that's what BookMarCon is. And it's 3 days we have 25 speakers from everything from running ads to working with designers to help you in the marketing department, to doing Google AdWords, which I don't know how to do any of that. You and I were talking about CEO a little bit the other day, and one of our speakers is doing a whole presentation on search engine optimization and how you can use keywords to have your books pop up. Or we were even talking about how to do that with Amazon. So there's going to be a lot of speakers there that talk about your intellectual property and what you need to know to protect yourself and things like that. So, and not only that, but there will be industry experts such as publishers and agents there, that if you're looking to be traditionally published, you can pitch your books to them, whether it's nonfiction or fiction or children's or adults.
I think at one point you'd actually even mentioned that you got I hate to call this person a whale, a very big catch for this conference, and that this man never does any type of reading the first 10 pages, I think. Am I correct in saying that? I might be a little bit off.
Yeah, no, actually, you're pretty good. You have really good memory. So that was spot on. We have 18 agents coming, and there is a gentleman, he's vice president of Trident Media Group, which is a really large publishing house. And he doesn't normally do face-to-face pitches, and he's opening back up for the conference. And a lot of these agents, it's summer, so if you've been searching or you've been sending queries out and you can see that they're not accepting right now because it's the off season for them, and that's not for everybody. I'm just giving you, what happens with some people because they travel with their families or whatnot. If you come to the conference, you're not going to have to sit in that slush pile. You're going to say, I went to BookMarCon, I met with you, you asked me one-on-one, face-to-face for more, whatever, chapters, information, here it is, and then you're right at the top of their list. And that is how, you want to laugh because this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I pitched 14 agents. It wasn't like I went and pitched one. When I went to the conference and I landed one, I pitched 14. So
14.
Out of the 14, 11 asked for my first 50 pages of my manuscript or the whole manuscript. Out of those 11, 4 wrote me back that they wanted to sign me. And then I ended up going with somebody. I went with CamCat Books. I actually can say that because they probably would love that little. So CamCat Books picked me up, and now I have 2 books with them, and I have 3 more on my way.
Nice. Congratulations. That's so awesome. So now you're almost paying this forward to the author community. And so all they really have to do is attend BookMarCon, correct?
Yeah. Just come on down. And it's
So crazy.
bookmarcon.com. And they can look up all the
Okay.
agents that'll be there. Now, I'm not promising them all book deals, but you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity to shine. And something that I think is really interesting too, agents now, and this never used to be, before COVID, it wasn't like this. They will absolutely, if they like your query letter and they ask for more pages and they like your pages, you have to have a one-on-one. They don't just pick you up from email. You have a Zoom meeting. So by doing this agent pitch, you're skipping all of that and getting right to the one-on-one, because like dating, they want to make sure the personalities match because they're representing you. They have to believe in the person and your work because it is truly a partnership the entire time.
Very cool. I'm super excited about this opportunity. And this is one of the reasons why, like I say, I've just noticed a huge shift as you have segued into this role and some things that have changed and for the better, obviously, because BookBrush has always been fantastic
Yeah.
as a marketing resource and tool
Yeah.
that people are able to put together, better assets that can really get them look to be very professional, if you will. So what leads me to another like pain point and something that for someone like me, I've always looked into, because BookBrush is fantastic, but let's be honest,
Yeah.
it's not like you can get on there and make a really good asset within 2 minutes.
I
So
can't.
that's where, yeah, you can. I get on, there's 5,000 different templates. Forget about it. I guess I get overwhelmed
No,
and I
I
say,
mean,
screw
I
it.
can't.
I'd rather,
They make fun of me constantly. Like, I'm terrible. Like, Kathleen,
oh, you say you
I
can't.
cannot. I'm awful. Kathleen literally
Okay.
said to me that I need to do like a 3 hour research on fonts.
That's about right. Actually, that's my problem is sometimes I go, that font's not right.
Mhm.
Or, oh, you know what, that image isn't right. And so I keep playing around with it. So I think the biggest pain for you and I is we do have a finite amount of time, as everybody else
Yeah.
does. But I think that a lot of my time is better suited towards like making videos or interacting or interviewing with folks just like you. So that's what kind of segues perfectly over to this new idea, for lack of better words, concept, the whole hourly concepts thing.
Yeah.
Share with me a little bit about hourly concepts. What is this? Who is it intended for?
Yeah.
And is it for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for everybody. If you're, even if you are an aspiring author, one of the main things I did wrong, and I talk about this a lot at marketing events or actually any author event, is I didn't build an audience before I had material. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what? Well, how am I going to do that? Like, what do you mean if I don't have a book, like build an audience? I'm not kidding. Build an audience. If you build it, they will come. If you can build an audience, talk about you as a writer. Like, I'm sitting down Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I write 3,000 words, and here's my adventure. Make it fun. Have animated pictures or whatever you can that supports you, your business, and your brand, even if you don't have books, because as you grow everything, then when you do launch something, you'll actually have people who are like ready, on board, and want to buy your book. With that being said, even aspiring authors can use hourly concepts, because what hourly concept is it's a design service. So by the hour,
Okay.
we do concepts for you, and it can be anything from Amazon A+ content to social images, BookBub ads, Kickstarters, which you and I were talking about the other day, and I'm like knee deep in that
Yeah.
Kickstarter for myself right now, so I've been doing that. But these things have bigger success if you have the branding and the aesthetics. If it's aesthetically pleasing, people are going to pay attention to it. They're going to be more curious. They're going to want to look into it a little bit more. And it is funny because if you ever go to my Instagram page, you absolutely know when I hired Hourly Concepts to when I was doing it myself. I mean, it's so bad. It's really, really embarrassing, which again, to the point of why I wasn't on their social media for too long, and I transitioned to COO quite fast, is because I wasn't really
Yeah.
good at that. But what I am good at is ideas, marketing, and sales. So what the designers do is they support my ideas and they bring them to life. And if you're thinking about when you write a book, when you see that moment, for those of you that have these already, you see your cover for this first time and you're able to see something colorful that brings those words to life, like it brings tears to your eyes because you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is the cover of my book. Like, this embodies, it tells a story. Well, that's what all your marketing should do. It should tell a story about who you are, who your brand is, and what you're doing and what you're planning on doing so that you can build your readership. So anyway, Hourly Concepts can support you whether you have, and I do have this girl, I love her, she had 350 books. So you can have 350 books or you can have one on the way, and Hourly Concepts can still support you where you are in your career.
This is fairly interesting. I think we need to dig deeper a little bit here, and I understand that pricing is going to change and fluctuate as time kind of goes on.
Yeah.
But right now, as it stands, I know you guys have like, I think 3 pricing tiers. Break down, what do each of those pricing tiers mean to you? If you know them right off the top of your head. Here I'm like quizzing you and I didn't even
You're like, do you have
didn't
that
even
up?
warn you.
So there's 4 pricing tiers actually, and the reason why that there's 4 now is because every time we have a new tier, somebody's like, well, I need more hours than that. And we're like, all right, we will build it if they come, kind of deal. So we have 4 tiers. You can have 5 hours. Now it is subscription based. So those 5 hours you'll get every month, but you don't have to stay on it. There's no monthly commitment or annual commitment, but it does continue because the idea is that we're growing with your career. So whether that's 5 social ads a month, or if you're like, no, I need more than 5 hours, you can get a 10-hour. So the 5 hours is $125. Then there's the 10-hour at $240. Then there's the 20-hour at $399. And then and this is the one I had to look up, but I got it up here. Then we just added the 30-hour for $599. And that's a huge discount because it's normally $750 and we discount it to $599 for its first 3 months.
Oh, very cool. And I think you guys also offer like a price discount for annual plan if somebody pays in advance, right? Or no?
We don't have that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Look at that. I'm innovating and not even realizing it and such.
I like that idea. Yeah. And the reason people always ask, like, well, why is it set up this way? So we have 15 designers on staff. And how we can tell how many designers we need is based on the hours that we have projected. We would never be able to do this if we didn't have that projection, because as I add, maybe 10 more or 15 more, or 20, it depends. I have to keep adding designers too. So it's how we get to manage it so that you get it back, because here's the part that is incredible. You get it back in 3 days. That is the turn time for our designs. And if you know anything about hiring a designer, it's normally weeks before you get any of your designs back. Now, book covers take a little bit longer, and we do now fantasy maps for any fantasy writers, and those you get the first sketch back in 3 days, but the final one, it takes a little bit longer.
That makes sense. It's completely understandable, especially since, I've worked with quite a few graphic designers over the years. So a lot of people probably might start to wonder, okay, I'm paying X amount of dollars per month for this new service. I get a designer for X amount of hours within the course of a month. How many assets could an author expect to get within a course of a month? Give or take, obviously. Obviously, it's probably going to be more than one.
Yeah, definitely.
But probably not as much as 100.
No, it depends what you're asking for. So if you go onto the site, it tells you how many hours each thing takes. And so each project has an hour associated with it. So Amazon A+ content is 2 hours. A social ad is an hour. And that's from everything from meeting with your project manager. The designer meets with the project manager when they get an order to make sure that there's clear, concise understanding of the project. And then they make it and then send it back to us, and then we send it to the end user. But I think the thing that takes the most is the Kickstarters, because the Kickstarter projects are everything, like your rewards on Kickstarters, your video, your banner image, your story images. So and it's all branded, so it's cohesive, which is amazing. Because if you ever go on the most successful Kickstarters, like Brandon Sanders, because we know how his Kickstarter was, $41 million later, it's cohesive, right? Everything is branded to each other. And I think that says a lot about the ones that have done really, really well.
That's very, very cool. We could probably keep talking about all these really cool BookBrush features. And a lot of people are like, oh, gosh, Dale's got to be a shill. No, they're not paying me a dime.
No.
You guys, it took a while for Kathleen to win me over. But when I finally was won over, I really have enjoyed everything that you guys are doing. Well, as we're starting to wrap up our interview here, I've always asked every guest this, and you're no exception because I'm sure you're going to have something really good. What advice do you have for aspiring authors and self-publishers out there?
So my advice hits really close to home for me. My advice to you is never give up. You are good enough. Your story is worth it. And there are people out there that want to hear it, because I think self-doubt becomes the devil on the shoulder. And I want you to just flick it off right away, because it does not matter. Even if it's you and your dad or your mom or your siblings that love the book, it's special. So don't give up on it, because one day it'll be special to the world. So that's my biggest thing, is just don't ever give up and don't let self-doubt ever take over.
You've been listening to the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. Visit us at selfpublishingwithdale.com for more information on how you can level up your self-publishing business. Also, check out our growing video on demand service, chock full of free and premium content, when you head over to theselfpublishinghub.com. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a review on your preferred podcasting platform. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.